through, but the next Sunday, which is June the 12th, we'll go back to 10:30. Hello? We'll go back to 10:30, and you'll have Sunday school on that Sunday. So, it's going to have Sunday school because of the time. The kids for the Roanoke District is deadline to be June the 5th. They need to be here by then so they can get up. So we have one more Sunday, I guess, to get there for that. We have this, on June the 13th, they will have that memorial service for Gene Barger, which is our lunch afterward. And instead of flowers, they want you to donate to the Derby Family Scholarship Fund. They have an address for that. We know that we're having the services down here on starting June the 5th, up there where they have a flea market, and they have different speakers. Doug is to be there on Monday, June the 6th, and around 11 to be there for entertainment. But I suggest you read them because there were a lot of them. Also, he asked that if you're able to take up a separate offering. And that's for the gym he spoke about that's over in the Newcastle jail that had needs of toiletries and things like that. Doug kindly to say, please remember, maybe do a small extra. I don't have to do it simply, but Doug will take the money. He will go over there and personally put it into his account to make sure it's put in there for what we need. All right. Is there any other thing I need to announce? Anybody have anything else we need to announce right now? All right. If not, if you get your bulletin, we will do the call to worship. What you need? You ready for that?
Yeah.
Right before we got something special here. Clyde's going to take care of that. And we need Chase and Bill to please come up. Chase. Well, Chase, you're ready, right? All right.
Chase, this is just a little something from your church family. We're proud. So keep up the good work there, buddy boy.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
It's so good to see these boys have been here for so many years and grew up here in this church. And we're so proud of them. And I know they're going to do whatever they want to achieve. They're very smart and they got their lives planned out, and that's good. Now we're ready. Anything else, Clyde?
No, that's it.
Okay, so if you get your bulletin, we will do the call to worship, please. It says, those who devote their love to God receive unending love. Jesus dwells among us, teaching us to believe in His name. Let us offer God our thanks. The Holy Spirit dwells among us, guiding us down the path of life. Let us offer God our praise. God dwells among us, beckoning us to worship. Let us offer God our worship. Now we'll do the pastoral prayer of medicine. Loving God, companion to all your children, you give us vision. I believe in God the Father Almighty, maker of heaven and earth, and in Jesus Christ, his only Son, our Lord, who was conceived by the Holy Spirit, born of the Virgin Mary, suffered under Pontius Pilate, was crucified, dead, and buried. The third day he rose from the dead. He ascended into heaven, and sitteth at the right hand of God the Father Almighty. From thence he shall come to judge the quick and the dead. I believe in the Holy Spirit, the Holy Catholic Church, the communion of saints, and the forgiveness of sins, the resurrection of the body, and the life everlasting. Amen. And now we have some special music. Please be seated.
I'm going to sing something a little different. It is not a gospel song, but this is a special request, and I want to dedicate this to my dear friend Chase Bennett.
All my
promise. That's cool. My scripture today, I find out what I did with the glasses. I made let me get as close as I can. I like them so. This is going to be in John 8. It's like the 53rd scripture down to the end of that. And everyone went to his own house, but Jesus went to the Mount of Olives. Now in the morning he came again to the temple, and all the people came to him, and they sat down and taught them. Then the scribes and the Pharisees brought him a woman caught in adultery, and when they had set her in the midst, they said to him, Teacher, this woman was caught in adultery in the very act. Now Moses in the law commanded us that such should be stoned. But what do you say? This they said, testing him, that they might have something of which to accuse him. But Jesus stooped down and wrote on the ground with his finger, as though he did not hear. So when they continued asking him, he raised himself up and said to them, He who is without sin among you, let them throw the stone at her first. And again, he stooped down and wrote on the ground. Then those who heard it, being convicted by their conscience, went out one by one, beginning with the oldest, even to the last. And Jesus was left alone, and the woman standing in the midst. When Jesus had raised himself up and saw no one but the woman, he said to her, Woman, where are those accusers of yours? Has no one condemned you? She said, No one, Lord. And Jesus said to her, Neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more. Stoning was a big whale. They took her crops, I guess. I think that would be a painful thing. This is early on. We know that Stephen was stoned. He was actually one of the first martyrs that were stoned. He also was one of 7 deacons that had been chosen in the church. And they stoned him because he was delivering the fact that you're treating people wrong, you're not doing what God has said. They didn't like what he said, and they stoned him. And they were getting ready to stone this thing. Now, I got a bag over here. Hold on to it. Now, this is pretty heavy. It's pretty heavy. I didn't mean to weigh this much, but I did. It's very heavy. The wages of sin is very heavy. Right? So, we know Christ wrote in the dirt. We don't know what he wrote. And I'm thinking he's just bringing up some stuff that you guys might have did this, and you're standing here accusing this lady of something. I got faith on this one. Have you ever stolen anything? My dad taught me not to, so I kind of figured that. Were you ever a child and you just picked up something on it? You didn't think you was stealing it, you're in somebody else's house, or you like took a candy bar that you weren't supposed to steal. A lot of those were thieves that were they were in the temple, but they were thieving their own people. They was taxing them to death, correct? They didn't go to God's law all the time. They went by what they thought was right and wrong. It was always God's law, but they didn't get to do what they wanted to do. Now, this is pretty heavy. I think I got about, how much did that thing weigh? I think it weighed about 40 pounds. But if you got hit by one of these, I think it might hurt to hit you in the head, hit you in the chest. Now, some countries, unlike ours, if you steal something, if you got it with the right hand, they'll chop it right off. They're going back to the old way. You steal, you pay for your crime. Unfortunately, in our world right now, there's a lot of that going on in front of our eyes. And now we're the ones that are being taxed to death, and we're the one that's being burdened with higher prices, less money. But God was never a thief, and Christ was never a thief. He's the giver. Jesus gave careful what you take from others. It's not always, maybe it's not just, sometimes it can be an idea. Maybe Keith wrote a song, I like that thing. I took it, I sent it out to Music Row somewhere, and it got to be a hit. What did I just do, Keith? I stole your thoughts, I stole your song, and I also stole the money you may have gotten from it. So it's dealt in many ways. It's not, I worked in retail for years, and I used to work in a store, in a convenience store. And I had this person who said, well, if it's back then, a honey bun was 50 cents and now it's $3. But it's just a honey bun. I said, but if you stole one every day, 7 days a week, you multiply it by the week, by the month, you've stolen several $1,000 just eating it up. They thought because the guy owned the place had money, it's okay to steal. It isn't always easy, and you shouldn't ever steal from anybody. Did anybody ever somebody cheat off their papers in school and they're trying to steal your homework because they didn't know the answers? It's all been there for many years. My daddy had a rule. When I go, he said, you go to the store, you don't have any money, don't touch it. It's not yours till you pay for it. That's just the golden rule. Maybe we need that rule a little bit more. This is even heavier. This, God says, thou shalt not covet what others have. Whether it's their land, whether John over here got a great John Deere, man, I like to have that thing. If I had a way to get it from him, I'd take it. Maybe it's, what's something you really like that somebody else might want? It could be anything you got. We're not supposed to covet. We're not supposed to, she's got a beautiful dress. I wish I had money to buy that dress. I don't see if she'll give it to me. I really want it. Your wants are not supposed, God is not there to suit your wants. He's there to fulfill your need. Now, if I pay my bills and everything goes well, then I can kind of say, I want that dress, or I want to go here, I want to go there. But somebody else's things are not there for you to want so bad that you're actually sitting to a point because you're just freeing yourself for something that somebody else has. It could be your education. We got one already in college and one heading that way. It's a lot of things out there you got to be careful if you got to make sure your friends are really friends out there. Or are they just trying to take something from you? It could be your girlfriend. It could be a lot of things. This is bad. God said, thou shalt not kill. We are living one of the worst days. This happens every day. I think they had that big one out there, and then one at McDonald's, they killed, 10 people, they killed 13 somewhere else, they injured people. And I accept this was a younger man. I don't know what's up here that you think is okay. I mean, just in Valley View several weeks ago, a young guy, 16 or 17, went in and started cutting on this lady, covering her face, did all this damage. But God also said what's in your heart is what you probably do. If you don't have a God set in your mind, and maybe you get really mad at somebody. And something was said in Beverly, they had one day where these guys were friends. My daughter and my son knew the boy. They were friends. They got a terrible argument, and the other smacked his friend down and hit his head, and he left him and he died there. They were friends. We need to check our anger meter, because if you get that anger, what's the best thing to do? Walk away. Don't even, if it could have been a whole lot. And today, we got mothers who like to kill the babies before they get killed. And then they were saying here is a law they want to come to think that they want to euthanize our senior citizens. Once you get so old and so ill, they said, let's put them to sleep. Well, what, 20 years ago, they got Mr. Dr. Kevorkian for asking them that person said, can you let me just go to sleep and die? He was a murderer. It's okay to kill babies, but it's all right to kill senior citizens. That's sad. That's very sad. If you're quick to anger, then you need to quickly walk away, because you may even say things. You may not kill that person physically, but you killed them in the heart. If you say such ugly, mean words, you've hurt their soul. You could lose a friend. You've lost something else in this deal. And whether that friend's still alive, you know, you go to school, you got best friends, and some all of a sudden one wants to do something that you don't approve of, and they don't like you anymore. That's no reason to dislike me. You got to stand for what you believe in. I feel like this: if you're my friend, and I don't agree, I don't want to go to that party, I don't want to do this today, they still ought to like me. I don't have to like everything they want, and they don't have to like everything or love everything about me. That's why we're different. Our friends can be different. One of my best friends, I went to school with Diane. She was Diane Tolley, got married to Diane McLean. She died last week. We met in 7th grade. We got to be friends, but we had to share a locker. And then we were in high school for the next few years. She was a straight A student 5 years in a row. Used to have, back then you had 8th grade through. And she became valedictorian. And she went to Virginia Tech. She became like a data entry person. What I'm saying this for, I weighed 100 pounds. And I was shorter. I'm not short than now, but short. But she was like 5'6". She was a bigger girl. But I'm the one that had I'll stand up, you know. I'm just, you got something to tell me, and we'll talk about it. And she was more calm and wouldn't be into that. And I said, how different could we have been that we ended up being very good friends? She moved away, and I didn't see her for a long time. They lived over Smith Mountain Lake. And it kind of shocked me when I seen her picture in the paper here. So, you know, that family's, her mom's still alive, and she's got her sisters and brothers, and so just remember that prayer. But you don't have to be elite to be friends. You're going to find some things you really are better with together, and some things you may not be. Don't let your friends lead you astray. I don't care how great it sounds. Think about consequences. I had a grandson, he never thought about consequences. He just did what they said. Hey, it's cool to take this car. No, it's not. Hey, it's cool to take a 4-wheeler on the mountain. We're just going to take it. And then they wrecked it, and then he's liable for some of the cost. It wasn't his idea, but he was so easy to go with whatever the flow was. And I kind of told him, if your friend has a bracelet on his leg, that's a sign. He's not supposed to be out the house. He shouldn't have been on the mountain, let alone take the 4-wheeler. Think for yourself. That's why God gave us a mind. I wrote this, but I'm not sure what I don't know. Let's say anger. We just talked about anger. Is that an issue?
Yeah.
Yes. And I've been doing a whole lot of self-analysis to myself. I came out of situations where anger was part of the life, and it causes you to be very defensive, okay? I did learn I'll take care of me no matter what. But to be quickly, anger is what causes some of these other sins. We hurt somebody, we want to smack them, we want to kill them, and we want to steal what they got because you just don't got it or you don't want to work for them. I've never seen a situation where there are so many places that got closed down because there was nobody wanting a job. I can remember you go to Burger King, students were working to go to school and they work for money, you know, for gas and get ready for graduation. I don't see anybody anymore. What are they living on? I can't afford not to work. If you were working, can y'all not afford to work when you work? You have a reason. You have bills, you want to eat, you want to keep your home. It's a reason. It's a part of being responsible for yourself. My son lived with me he got a job when he was 18, and he lived with me till he was 25 until he got there. And I made him pay rent at my house. And I told him how much, that's a lot. Okay, then you go find out what's out there and you come back to me. He had free housing, bathroom, clean clothes, food. And so he wanted a car. He bought the car. You will pay for that car. You're going to pay for the insurance. I'm not doing it. And you know what? I have to give him this. Anytime that thing, when the payment was due, he just left it on the kitchen counter, no money was there. I never had to go, are you going to pay that car payment or not? I did the rent thing because I want to say it's called responsibility. And when you are responsible enough and you get grown, if you take on a wife or you take on a husband, you know what you got to do when it comes to money. You got to work together and you got to work hard together. And it's not always easy in relationships. Now, you can love them to death and you still wish, will he just go out of the house? Will he just go somewhere? And I'm pretty sure that she never would give me these lists to do stuff, the honeydew things. So anger can affect marriages. Jealousy is dangerous in any relationship. People have gotten killed because they were jealous. It's sad. God, it's these things. It's all about choices. And these are a lot of God's commandments, is it not? I didn't mean to get the biggest ones over. Liar. I would say that a lot of liars that were in the Jewish sect that you're talking about the ones of the religious group. They were very religious, believed on the old ways that God commanded back in the Old Testament. And, they even got on Jesus. They tried to make out he was a liar. They tried to make him, what would you do? And all this, and then, he just stunned them to death. He just gave them the answer back and said, this is what my Father says. This is where I came from. They did everything they could to cage him in a corner. Why? You're saying, why do they want Jesus dead so bad? If you trusted God, why do they want him dead so bad? You're talking about a 33-year-old man. At 30 years old, he started his trek to go out and show what God's like. He was God incarnate in him. He turned water into wine. He only did it for his mother. He really didn't want to do that one right then. He healed the lame. He put mud on a man's eyes and gave him back his sight. He never had sight in his entire life. They dragged him in and questioned him. Are you sure you're just kidding? You're not telling the truth? They tried to make him a liar. He said, no, I've been blind from the time I was young. I've never seen until this man. Jesus touched my eyes. They told a lot of lies about Jesus, didn't they? He's a con man. He's not really what he says. Who is he to say he's the Son of God? Who is he? He came from Nazareth. He didn't come from a whole lot there, right? They didn't, they had him among them. We believe on blind faith because we may have met Jesus. We don't know. I feel like sometimes he could be anybody. You be on the street. It could be he's giving you a test. I watch these videos. Sometimes they do these little things and they'll go to the grocery store and I don't have no money. Can you buy my baby's diapers? The guy asked about 4 weeks. The third one he said, yes, I can. And he'll turn around and say, I thank you for carrying it up. So he gives them like $500 or they pay for the amount of groceries. That's passing it on. If you also bless that with Jesus, God bless you as you go. That's passing it on. And this was a young man, but they tried to stop Jesus. They didn't want him to speak the truth. I found out the truth is very hard. And I always been a person that if you ask me a question, I always say, do you want the truth or what do you want? I worked in the HR office for 7 years, and I'd have people go, Barbara, can I ask you something? All right. What is it? You want me to tell me what I feel? Yes, I want you to tell me the truth. And I did that. And sometimes that led to more discussions. I had people, had a young man went short where he's in life. He was deciding whether he should be homosexual or whatever, and it's weird. We had some conversations. Ann had conversations. He said, if I have a Bible read, he said, I'll fix that. I went and found him a Bible that suited his age. He had questions, we answered the questions. And it was strange. And he came to me and he said, Barbara, I feel like God is talking to me, and that I've been living my life totally wrong in the last 5 years. trying to please friends and said, you need to be this way. He would wear $75 shirts. And I said, why do you do that? Because you don't know my friends. I said, well, they're not very good friends, and they think you've got to dress and spend the kind of money you're not making here. But when he asked me, he said, God spoke to me, and I said, yes, he will do that. And you need to open your ears, and you really need to listen with your heart. But the long and short of it, his sister invited him to church. He started going to church. Now, what I liked about this, the pastor took him out to dinner one day, and he was just saying, you gave your life to Jesus last week, or whatever it was. And you know that lifestyle you have, it has to change. You have to live the life that Jesus has shown to you. What he's saying in that Bible, follow him. You ever walk a bunch of rocks where some was heavy and some was little, and you're trying to step on those things and climb up a hill or something? It's rough, isn't it? Life is just like that. What he's saying, you take the broad way, and you may not you'll be lost forever. Take the narrow way is hard. It's hard to maybe read your Bible in front of your friends. It's hard when you talk about God. We got some people. We had one man, which actually was from Buchanan, and I didn't realize that I knew him, but he knew my first son, Jerry. They drove trucks or something together. He came in there and he was really angry. He said, he had a tumor in his brain and lung cancer. I don't know what all he said. He said, I go to church and I put my money in the basket every week. Look what he's done to me. I said, no. That doesn't, going to church and putting your money in is not what's required for him to help you and where you go. He only come back through there one other time, I think. And he said, again, he was still very angry. We just had a man in there happy about how he loved God because he'd had 5 or 6 aneurysms. He'd had I don't know how many surgeries to get all this removed. We got another man who's so angry that he thought, I go to church, I put my money in the pot, God's supposed to fix me. As Christians, we don't always get fixed. We try to fix the things we know to correct our own selves, but when it comes to a lot of issues, there's things we cannot fix. You got to ask God. God already knows what your need is. He knew what you was going to be when you were born. He knew whether Keith was going to go into music. He knew that. He might know that Keith, you could have took different routes and sang different kind of music, right? You could have went so away from God, you might not have been here, but he knew where he was going to be. It's weird. I guess in my family, I'm the only one of 4 kids that kept going to church. When we were small, we were ready to go to church. When you get a little older, I don't want to do that. And I've always been there. Doesn't mean I was perfect, and we made mistakes. We learned from those. But God has never let me go so far that he didn't pull me back. That's what you got to remember. You're going to make mistakes, guys. You're going to make mistakes. You're young, but you've been raised in a good way. You know who God is. You know what that's being. It's going out there and sharing that same belief to other kids of your age group. It may be an old man sitting somewhere and he just needed a dollar, or maybe he really wanted to say, I've never been so lonely and lived such a harsh life, because you don't know what they really have went through. You know, you go to these nursing homes, and I love talking to some of these older people. They're smart. You know, some of the ones that got their memory, they're doing great, and they can teach you so many things. We used to have a black lady. She lived to be 103 down here in Buchanan, and I talked to her one time. She was so sweet to talk to. She was from the Civil War age. You know, she didn't sit up there and scream and cry that she was treated wrong. She gave us information. Your older people have a lot of information you might want to know. But what I'm saying with all this, what did Jesus really say to them? Who made you judge of this woman? Who made you the judge decide that she's going to die like this or not? We're not anybody's judge. God is the only judge we have. I can't judge Keith. I don't care what I know about. You have to do better than that. People can do that. And sometimes we hurt people because their past is their past. We have our own. It's good that Jesus is accepting what we are. I can be funny. sang song one night, I enjoy life. I like to smile. I've been in public. I've worked with people for 45 years. You got the good, the bad, the ugly. You got the ones that can make your day. You got some that you can't make their day. I have one man, I probably waited him several times to get my, I say, good morning. No response. I'm ringing up the stuff. How are you today? No response. You hand me the money, here you go. I say, have a good day. He's never spoken to me at all. And we have some people, a friend of mine, George, says, they let woman look like she sucked on lemons all day long. They're not going to smile. It's like, I'll go ahead for a Walmart. I don't want to be here anyway. I spent all my money. Okay. We're not going to spend money. It's how you face life. Guys, have fun. Enjoy life. Ain't nothing better than smiling because it's good for your face and wrinkles. It's better when they go up than they go down, right? It's easier to smile than it is to be frowning. But God doesn't. Who's the only judge that we have? When we leave this world, we're going to be judged by who? God. God's going to judge us. He got a little book there, probably 10 times thicker than this Bible on you. From the time you're born, my brother and I, he's 3 years old, and we never agreed on anything, and we wrestled and fought a lot, okay? And we did that. But I went to a funeral here a month or two ago. My cousin died, and I went where my brother was. He'll be 71 this coming week. He's dealing with Parkinson's, but he hugged me up and he said, sis, I love you. You know all the years I lived, I've never heard those words. It's kind of like, don't forget to say you love you to your family or your siblings. You have when you're by yourself, you're okay. When you got 3, my sister was a lead. I chop wood, you carry it. I don't care if you carry 2 sticks. No, I was like 5 or 6. You're going to carry wood no matter what. But, it's all, we always have loved and cared about each other. And do that while your family's with you. Don't have a regret when it's over. Also, when you got a chance to ask Jesus to come into your life, don't put it off. Never put that opportunity off. Never feel if somebody needs this, don't fail to tell them. You may be made fun of. You one of them Jesus people? Yes, I am. Simplest word you can say. Now, if that offends you, I'm very sorry. Because I'm not offended by anything my God or my Savior has done for me. So, guys, I just wish you the best in your life and where you're going to be. I enjoyed the time we actually got to teach you for a little bit in Sunday school. And like I said, they've been a part of this church for many, many years. And it's good to grow up to be fine, good men. And to anyone else who's on the way to graduation, it's good that you have made a plan. My granddaughter is already she's been accepted at the Lincoln Community College in Bedford. She's going there for 2 years. She won't go back to high school for 11 and 12. But she makes straight A's, and she's going there. It's kind of neat. They told her she could stay there, and she could study, and then she would get a job afterward. And that way, when 10 o'clock comes, she just goes home and goes to bed. But it's good to have some pathway to where you want to be. I haven't decided what my career is going to be. I haven't decided where I want to go. But sometimes you put things off to just make it work than what you enjoy doing. So I always plan to do something you really want to enjoy in life. Something that will be purpose to you and purpose to others. Congratulations, guys, and I hope everything goes well with you. So now we're going to go
Before you go any further, can I ask prayer for Oliver Deacon?
Yes. As next door neighbor, he's had a lot of problems and he fell real bad, I guess in the house. So that's their neighbor. Just pray for him to have to take him to church. So anybody have any other prayer requests before we move on?
Ann Kern.
Ann, what's going on, Ann?
She fell last Sunday and broke a bone in her hip.
Oh, she came to work.
And
She came to church.
has taken to the hospital on Thursday. That's where she is today.
And she came to church.
Yeah.
She fell that morning and came to church. Y'all live with Ann. Ann's what, 93, 94?
90, she'll be 95.
She'll be
next month.
95 years old.
Her birthday.
and I put her up in my pickup truck and took her to the PPR, so.
Did you? Yeah, I mean, you talk about a faith, a walker, there she is. And if you've had, you know, when you have these people in front of you, these are people that you need to look up to and learn from. It's not the bad people, it's not the crazy people, you know. And you know, they're talking about this the green world. Come on, people, we had a green world. My daddy planted everything. He didn't kill the ground with all these unnecessary pesticides. He didn't do that. We never even starved, man. We had everything you wanted. We had 82 acres of land. I had peaches and apples in the summer. We had blackberry, whatever you want. And you know, the saddest thing, we had this thing where there was no formula for the babies. I wasn't even created when I was a baby. And somebody actually put on what they could do in place of it, you know, and they said, Facebook said that's a lie, you shouldn't listen to them. How did your parents feed you? Did you have Similac? No. We had carnation milk. My mom would thin that down, I had water to it, that's how we had milk for cereal. I'm sure that's what they fed me, you know, in a bottle or whatever. I don't think I even had a real baby mom. I think it was something else. It wasn't in that day. But, you know, this is dangerous because if you can't think for yourself and you're relying on this country to supply your every need and the government's pushing this thing, you better learn to rely on yourself. Learn how to do things. Make it work. Is there any other prayers? take care of that, so thank you for.
And this is for what?
The gentleman that is out in the jail, he's 31 years old, he has no family, no way to get money, he needs it for toothpaste and toiletries, and they have to pay for it. So this will be money put in his account, and he can use it there.
Where is he now?
It's in the Big House jail. Yeah. This is somebody that Doug has talked to. We will now read the benediction that's in your bulletin. God has a dwelling place in you. You have a dwelling place in Christ, a source of continued blessing in your life. Go forth to spread God's message and others also dwell in His peace. And I'd like to say a closing prayer. Dear Father, we thank you for the gathering of people who believe and trust in you. May you be with them throughout their life and paths as they go home, keep them safe. And Father, we thank you for our young men who are graduating and going forward in life. Be with our youth, they are our future, God, and bless them in all they do. Be with those who need you in healing and comfort. Father, the world needs your healing as well. Thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ. Do not carry the baggage of your sin.